Hello, I hope this video finds you well. In this set of videos, we're going to make this really simple application which allows the user to enter a binary value and then it will convert it to base 10. So for example, if the user says 101 and we press enter, we get 101 is 5 in base 10. If we say 111, hit enter, we get 7, we put 0, we get 0. This is a really simple kind of program, really meant to kind of allow us to talk about some concepts in our course. But again, if I was actually build this, I want to highlight that I would engage with the user and client, figure out what is it that they want. Do they want to just convert from binary to base 10? Do they want to go from base 10 to binary? Do they want to do any base? That's a really important process if you're developing this as part of our design course. All right, with that said, let's dive in. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with this flow chart and kind of get an understanding of the entire process that we have to go through. So we're going to start our program. The user is going to enter a base 2 value, and then the entry, which is the value we've entered, is going to get processed. We're going to update our display, and then we clear our entry, and it ends. And it kind of does this over and over again. And in this first video, we're just going to set up the actual front-end GUI interface. And with that said, let's do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to import tkinter as tk. I like to import it as tk because it helps reinforce the idea that we are pulling functions from a module when I'm teaching students. I always like to put this, I'm going to put print stage 1 so I know that's what I'm working from. I'm going to create my root window, and my root window is the window that I'm going to build my little app in, and I'm going to say tk.tk. So what we're doing is we're going into the tkinter module and we're running this function called tk. What this does is this creates the window that we're going to put our program in. So it generates the close button, the minimize, the maximize. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit enter a whole bunch of times, and the last thing I do is I say root.mainLoop. And what this does is this sets up a main loop that displays our program, and it sits there and waits for you to do something. Remember, if you've worked through this before, this is what's called an event-driven program. It means we generate a display and then we wait for an event, that is a click of a button, the move of a mouse, the press of a key, for some functions to happen. All right, let me just pull this up actually and we can look at it, and that might be helpful. So let's do this. Oh, there it is. So if we take a look at this, we see we have what's a label followed by an entry and another label. So really simple here. So the first thing I'm going to call, I'm going to say lab, so I know it's a label, and I'm going to call this instructions equals tk.label. And I'm going to put this in the root window, and the text is going to be enter binary. Really simple. And let's break this down. So I make a variable called lab instructions. I'm going to go in the tk module and use the constructor label. Constructor is a special type of method that will go and build something. In this case, it's going to build a label widget. The first parameter is always where am I going to place it. I'm going to place it in the root window. And then I can use a variety of named parameters. So this named parameter here is text, and that is essentially the text of the label. The next widget I want, right, we have this first label widget. We want the entry widget. So I'm going to say ent value, and I like to do this where all my labels I put lab, all my entries I put ent. It doesn't matter your convention for the most part, as long as you're consistent. And I'm going to say tk entry, and all I have to do here is attach it to the root window. There's no name parameters. And the last thing I want is that I want to label with my results, and that's going to equal tk.label. So we're going to construct another label, we're going to put it in the root, and then the text is going to equal, and I'm just going to make it dash dash. So when I actually build these, the first thing I have to do is I have to construct the widgets. If I want, I can go and configure the widgets. In a sense, this is configuring a widget here that's changing some of the properties. I don't have to configure these widgets at all, so I'm not going to do anything there. And then the last thing I have to do is I have to actually add the widgets to the window. Now there's lots of ways we can do this. We can use various techniques. We can use a pack, a grid. I'm going to go with really simple. I'm just going to pack it. So I'm going to say lab underscore instructions, lab.pack. So what this does is it takes my widget called lab instructions and I pack it in the root window. The reason it knows to do this is because I've specified the root window as the window that holds that widget. I'm going to say ent value.pack, and I'm going to say lab results.pack. And if I've done this all right, I should get exactly what I see here, but it should have no functionality. So let's close this up. Let's clear this. I'm going to do ls for list. And I have already completed this whole project in these ones, and I'm just working through conversion tool 1 vid. So I'm going to say Python 3 conversion. Oh, I've totally spelled that wrong. Let me fix that right now. I'm going to pause and fix that. Okay, I've fixed that. You can see it's conversion now. It's always good to make sure you're, again, using the proper convention. So I'm going to say conversion tool 1 vid.py, and I should see stage 1, and there it is. We have our first label, we have our entry, which we can type in, nothing happens, and we have just a display there. Really simple. Okay, in the next video we are going to bind a function to a return key, so when we press return, it executes the process command. And that's what's going to do all the fun stuff. Hope this video helped, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.